What's up, everyone? It's Karthik with MoneyVest. Welcome on board for our market open live stream to wrap up the entire week. We're going to be doing a poll for the next stock analysis. Okay, so I want more and more people to participate, and I really want to curate this for the community. So we're going to be asking you, we're going to be doing a poll for the next day's stock analysis. Okay, so we're going to do this every day, Monday through Friday. We're going to do a poll, and it is going to be a poll which is just to keep everyone happy. We're going to be doing 3 polls every day. So we'll do 2 or 3 polls, and I'll show you exactly what I mean by that. But very quickly, going over to the markets, pre-market, we're seeing QQQs down about 29 basis points. We got the S&P 500 down over 22 basis points right now. And then we've got Meta Platforms pulling back under 645, which is good, down almost 1%. And we got NVIDIA pushing higher a little bit. Pre-market, it's up over 2%, almost 2%, as major Chinese authorities approved major tech firms to order NVIDIA's H200 AI chips. So NVIDIA has indeed gained approval to sell its H200 AI chips to Chinese clients despite U.S. lawmakers' concerns over potential national security risks linked to China's military or surveillance growth here. So audio video is good. Perfect. We are good to go. And again, welcome everybody. All I'm asking in return is that you drop a like, subscribe, and share this live stream with as many people as possible so we can have other investors, traders, friends, family, everyone to join and have a very detailed and quality discussion. Pre-market, things are indeed sideways. We are slightly down, slightly sideways. S&P 500 is still down for the week. So this week we are down about 39 basis points. And then if you account for the pre-market, we're going to be down just over 0.5% if the markets were to close down 20-30 basis points on the day here. So this is where we are. Zeta, Meta, HIMS, Melly, Tesla, everything was pushing higher. Most stocks were pushing higher. And then we've got Iron, Bloom Energy, Figure Technology, Broadcom, Netflix, all of these stocks pulling back a little bit here yesterday. So, okay, so as we get more and more people joining in, I'm going to throw in 2 stocks just to get these polls started. If there's any other companies that I see a lot of comments for, then we're going to take the winner from the current poll and then add it to the next stock that you guys are talking about. We'll do another poll, and whoever wins that one is the stock analysis for tomorrow. Okay. So as I said in my previous updates and videos, my goal this year is to provide you guys with at least over 300 new stock analysis videos. Every single day we're learning and we're studying about a brand new company. I'm spending 4 or 5 hours putting together the research, studying about that company in and out, understanding that business model, management, growth forecast, expectations, everything, to give you like a full breakdown, like a detailed breakdown of that stock. So let's do a quick poll for tomorrow. I'm going to be looking at either Melly or Figure Technologies. Okay. Stock analysis for tomorrow, poll number 1. So it's going to be either Mercado Libre or Figure Technologies. So let me know what company, which stock you guys want me to take a look at, and we'll get started on that. And in the meantime, we'll continue to monitor what the markets are doing with volatility here pushing up over 3% right now, back up to over 16 levels. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of updates with regards to the deal, whatever that deal is, between the US and Greenland, as President Trump also mentioned that during the World Economic Forum in Switzerland. So this is one of the catalysts that's coming in for NVIDIA, which is one of the reasons why it is pushing up. So NVIDIA CEO Huang to visit China as AI chip sales stall. But then they also did get the approval to be able to sell H200 chips in China. But Jensen Huang plans to visit China in the coming days ahead of the mid-February Lunar New Year. 2 people familiar with the matter told CNBC the trip comes as questions persist over the U.S. chip giant's ability to sell in Chinese market. which once accounted for at least a fifth of the revenue from NVIDIA's data center business alone. And US export restrictions have prevented NVIDIA from selling its most advanced chips to the US, and as Washington seeks to maintain an edge over Beijing in chips used to develop cutting-edge artificial intelligence. So Bank of Japan also raising economic growth forecast ahead of a snap election, holds rates steady. So did not change the rates, and they're steady at 0.75%, even though inflation actually came in below where their expectations were. So inflation is easing in Japan, but they're still keeping rates where they are, which, as I mentioned in my yesterday's video, is a good thing about US equities if inflation is lower, because that will mean lower interest rates potentially in the future for Japan, and thereby creating a good environment for US equities to also potentially rally. And then let's take a look at some potential renewed attacks on Iran could mean for oil prices. President Trump's warning that the US Armada is heading towards Iran has deepened concerns of potential military action in the Middle East, pushing oil prices higher amid fears of supply disruptions. We're back up to over $61 a barrel for crude, as there is potentially focus shifting back away from Greenland over to Iran. We're watching Iran, and we have a lot of ships going in that direction just in case, and we have a big flotilla going in that direction, and we'll see what happens. And oil prices indeed pushing up to over $61 a barrel. So good morning everybody, and let's just participate. I really want more and more people to participate in the polls here. So again, we're going to be deciding, literally this is what kind of videos come out. This is our community, and this is where I and all of us will be spending a lot of our time. So definitely participate in the polls. And if you have any other stocks you want me to look into, you want the stock analysis, research for that company, include it in the comments, and we'll take the winner from the current poll and add it with the new one and see which stock we're going to be analyzing tomorrow. So 41 votes right now. Mercado Libre certainly winning. 52% is where we are for this. Figure Technology keeps on losing. I know Temoff is going to be very pissed. He's not going to be happy with people not picking Figure Technology. The only reason I keep putting that in is because of Temoff. I know he's very excited about this stock, although Zeta was one of the stocks that won the poll yesterday. So we analyzed this company. I did the video earlier today, so make sure you do check that out. Spent a lot of hours researching, putting together the spreadsheet, and analyzing this company. But looks like it's, again, going to be not Temoff coming in with the frustration. Yeah, man. I mean, the people have spoken. You tell me. If you can convince them, I'd love to take a look at Figure. Of course, I'm still doing it on my free time, but we can only do one detailed stock analysis video per day, right? So eventually we'll get to it. I guess we'll have to put Figure with something that nobody wants to see, and then maybe Figure wins. And even then, if it doesn't, I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you. People for Temoff, remember the analysis every morning. Don't piss him off. I know, 100%. Want the stock analysis on AMD. I want your expert and detailed opinion at the moment. So we did analysis on Advanced Micro Devices before. I think, pushing up almost 3%, a very strong move from AMD. We talked about the support level around 194, 195. Anything sub $200 is actually quite reasonable for AMD. We talked about the valuation yesterday. It is not as high as what many people believe it to be, like 37, 38 times earnings is expensive, but it's not crazy. And we did get a couple more price upgrades on AMD. So a couple analysts raising price targets on AMD with strong first quarter outlook boosted by AI and longer lead times in the server market, and launched Helios, an AI platform integrating MI455, GPUs and ePYC Venice CPUs, which may stabilize revenue from enterprise client spending, and partner with TCS, that is your Tata Consultancy Services in India, to develop industry-specific AI and generative AI solutions, which may enhance its market presence for high-performance chips as well. So all of these three catalysts coming in together, pushing the price up over 3%, back up to over 261, and it is near all-time highs again for Advanced Micro Devices. So very good to see that. A lot of consolidation prior to this breakout for the last couple of weeks. This week, AMD is up over 12, 13%. So absolutely incredible, with our resistance at all-time highs at 266, 265 for for AMD. So, okay, so Mercado Libre certainly wins this poll. Is there any other stock you guys want to poll it against with Mercado Libre? Let me know for tomorrow's stock analysis video. Otherwise, it's going to be Melli. If there's any other companies, put them in the comments. And the more stocks, the more tickers I see, the more same tickers I see, I'm going to pin it against Melli. And then we're going to decide if it's going to be Mercado Libre or if it's going to be some other new stock. I do see Lyft. I see EERUN. Not sure what that stock is. Nope, doesn't seem like it's an actual ticker. RKLB, would love an analysis coming in on GLW. Loved the Zeta video. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. AMD can break through 260 resistance at the third attempt. I think it can if the volume can really be there. Volume has been picking up for AMD, which is a good sign of this breakout. So getting up to 260, 261, it's already getting up there, but 266 is the resistance on a heavy volume breakout. I think more upside is possible. Okay, so Tesla, Meta, we've already covered that during our market updates, but I'll take a look at it as well. Iron, we talked about this video, like literally a stock analysis video on Iron went out like less than 3 days ago, like 4 days ago. So definitely check that out as well. Netflix, again, yesterday was Netflix. We did the analysis on Netflix yesterday. The day before, I think I did Iron. Meta, I did, I think a week ago, also for Meta. And Tesla also, we talk about it pretty much every single day during the market update. So, okay. CLS, NU, we've got UNH, Path, BBAI, over 300% on the quarter, over 1,300% on the year. So I'm going to end the poll. I think Marvell is coming up, UNH, BITF, Bitfarms, a lot of these. So not the same stock coming up every single time. So we're going to end the poll. Melli is going to be it for tomorrow. So tomorrow we're going to be coming out with Mercado Libre stock analysis. But let's just dive right in for some technicals for these companies. Starting with Iron. A lot of consolidation sideways. Support level is going to stay at 49, close to $50. So that's where we are with Iron. A lot of consolidation sideways. And if you can get it sub $40, as mentioned in the video as well, sub 40 is going to be a very strong area of support for Iron to watch, with the resistance all the way up to $68, $70 for this stock here. Let's take a look at Marvell, MRVL. So Marvell Technology. A lot of consolidation sideways. So this is really the range within which it has been trading. So that is the range. We got a resistance all the way up to $97, $98. And a very strong support down here at around $79 to $80 for Marvell. So this is going to be that support level to watch, with a resistance all the way up to $97, $98 for Marvell. Let's take a look at Robinhood. So Robinhood here also has been consolidating, pulling back, which is good. The lower it gets down to, the better the pricing, the better the risk reward becomes. Resistance is going to stay put at 154, 155, and another resistance up to 124, 125 for Robinhood. We got a support level all the way down here, $94, $95. And again, a lot of consolidation sideways in that symmetrical triangle, with earnings also coming up very soon. What happened to Shop over the past few weeks? Let's take a look. Shopify. Yeah, I mean, the last few weeks here, it has been selling off aggressively. It's still within the context of this range, I would say. So we got a very strong support down here at around 136, 137. And we got a resistance all the way up here, 178, 180. And this is really the consolidation that we're seeing. So again, a lot of range bound pattern, trading in that range, consolidating, support level 136, 137. Resistance all the way up to 175, 180. The problem with AMD is their EPS is less now than in 2021. They are not bringing the cash like NVIDIA to the bottom line. I think, yes, but also because they did acquisitions. Xilinx acquisition kind of took away a lot of the cash for AMD. And as a result, their earnings did drop after 2021. But it's starting to pick up again, right? So margins have expanded. We're seeing that progression. You can see that in the fourth quarter of 2024. Since then, the margins have really expanded again, 12, 13%. And moving forward, I think earnings expectations are once again for AMD to accelerate further. I mean, just take a look from 2026, $6 to over $13, right? So more than double in 2 years. And this is, of course, the revenue from about $45 billion to over $84 billion. So about 80 to 90% growth expected from Advanced Micro Devices. So every company goes through these cyclical times where if they are, reinvesting that capital, they are buying another company, there's a merger or an acquisition happening, then, we do see that pullback for cash. So we can't tell you how much you enjoy the deep dives and suggested videos. Thank you for the effort. Thank you so much, Mark. Really appreciate that. And I'm glad you are enjoying those videos. I love doing those videos as well because it gives us the opportunity to analyze new businesses, new stocks, new companies, and then see if it actually fits for the portfolio, for the investment profile, and the objectives as well or not. So Cadence Design Systems, lower high and lower low continues for this stock. This is the stock that's also part of the shopping list. A lot of consolidation sideways, and we've got a support down here at 294, 295, and a resistance all the way up to as much as 340 for CDNS, and another resistance up to as much as 325, 326 for Cadence Design. Fortinet is going up, so let's take a look at FTNT. Wow, 6.6% rally. It has been consolidating sideways in that range. We got a support level that's going to stay put all the way down at $72, $73. That's been a very strong support for Fortinet, and rises after TD Cowen upgrades to buy, and we are seeing a rating upgrade from hold to buy with a $100 price target on Fortinet. So that's from TD Cowen, and a resistance all the way up to as much as $87, $88. So that is going to be that resistance level to watch, with a support level that's going to stay at $72, $73. Again, a lot of consolidation sideways is what we're seeing within that range for Fortinet. So Georgios, hello from Greece. Thank you so much for joining. Appreciate it. And yeah, hope the weather is nice in Greece. I don't know how cold it gets in Greece. Always curious. Let's see, Greece weather now. 13 degrees. That's good. 56, well, that's cold. A little bit. Obviously a lot colder than Dubai, but not as cold as, I'm assuming, the US. It's brutal probably in the Northeast right now. All right, so let's take a look at ONDS for Noah. So this, I think, also is a stock that's been on many investors' radar. This is ONDS, Ondas, I don't know how you say that name, but development, marketing, and sale of wireless radio systems for secure wide area mission-critical business-to-business networks. Company based out of Florida. Very, very substantial growth coming in since May of last year. It's up 1,700%. And overall, in a higher high, higher low pattern, then we saw this huge correction in November of last year. So 2025 dropped about 57%, got cut in half. And since then, it has gone up another 178%. So overall, I think quarterly revenues are growing. Losses are narrowing in, but they're still generating losses. We got 131 times sales, so absolutely crazy, ridiculous valuation in my opinion, and we got a higher high, higher low pattern that is still working through for ONDS. This is the support level to watch at around just under $12 for the stock. If I am following you from Borneo, where's Borneo? What is that? It's the world's third largest island. Wow. Oh, it's the Southeast Asia. So it's right above Indonesia, right there. Biodiverse treasure in Southeast Asia. divided among 3 nations: Indonesia, Malaysia, and Brunei. That's incredible. That's you always learn something new. Wow. Borneo. That's amazing. What time zone is Borneo in? I'm assuming it's going to follow the same time zone as like maybe Indonesia or Brunei. That's crazy. All right, so BBAI, so Big Bear. We'll take a look at Big Bear, and then we'll take a look at Intel as well. Intel and then STRL. It's 10:20 p.m. Yeah. It's really hard to trade when you're on the southeast, super east. It's very, very difficult to trade, especially when you're in, let's say, Bali or Australia. Those are some very difficult time zones to trade in. But Big Bear, we got a lot of consolidation sideways. So this is the range-bound pattern for Big Bear. A lot of resistance here at 650. We got a very strong support down here at 530. So that is really where it's been consolidating sideways at. Let's take a look at Intel. Now, Intel dropping over 12% on earnings, coming in with a double beat. However, down over 12% as the Q1 forecast coming in 11.7 to 12.7 billion. Earnings per share, earnings near break-even, disappointing traders. Shares fell 10%, marking a significant one-day loss, down about 47% here. So let's see. Rose about 47% year to date. Yes, so already in 2026, stocks are up a wild 44% here, but then we are pulling back a little bit now in pre-market. So I would say a support level to watch for Intel is going to be closer to $43, $44. That's going to be aligned with this previous resistance. That is going to be acting as a bit of a support. And then on a weekly time frame, we are looking at a resistance all the way up to as much as $62. That is the double resistance from back in 2021. And Intel has certainly come out from $19, $20. It's come back to life, almost 200% rally from those lows. And like I said, resistance all the way up to $62 is going to be that next level to watch. All right, let's take a look at CEG. So Constellation Energy, this is the overall uptrend of higher highs and higher lows since 2022. So this is the entire ascending pattern. We're coming back down to that higher low, and also a very strong support if you look at the last September low for CEG. That's going to be roughly at 287, 288 for CEG. So that is the support level to watch, with a resistance all the way up to 388, 389 for this stock here. So a couple more minutes left before market opens. QQQs are slightly down. So is the S&P 500. We got Meta Platforms back under 645, which is good news for me and my covered calls. And then a lot of individual stocks are pulling back here along with the market. Tesla's also down almost 60, 70 basis points. And then we've got NVIDIA pushing higher on its own specific news related to China and the approval for the H200 chips being sold. And of course, Jensen Huang is going to be in China later this week or next week. So, okay, thoughts on Lulu? Will it break out despite management concerns and struggling revenue in the US? What are my thoughts on Microsoft? Is this a good time to stockpile? What's going on with AMD? I keep buying covered calls and having to roll them. So not buying, but selling, right? So you don't buy covered calls, you usually sell covered calls, or you buy calls. So, but yeah, I mean, AMD has been running, and that's one of the biggest risks for when you are selling covered calls in the first place, is that you have to be very comfortable and okay with the fact that they could get in the money and they can be sold. So when I was selling a covered call on Meta Platforms and I picked a strike of 645, I knew well in advance that, okay, if it does get in the money, if I have to sell my shares at 645, I'm okay to do that. So rule number one for selling covered calls, make sure that your strike is above your cost basis. Rule number two is that you have to pick a strike. Strike selection is very important. You have to be completely fine with having your shares get called away at that strike if it comes down to it. Of course, as investors, as traders, we want to capitalize on that upside, on that appreciation. So we want to keep our shares as long as possible for as much as possible. But that cannot always be the case, right? Sometimes stocks move up too much too fast, and as a result, we have to give up the shares. So very important. Like for me, trading options is more psychological than it is the mechanics of the trade. As long as I'm comfortable with the decision I'm making, it's very difficult, very, very difficult for me to actually lose on that trade, because when you are selling options, the probability of success is very high. You're making money on 2 of the 3 outcomes. And so as a result, as long as I'm okay with all the outcomes that are there, it becomes more easy. It becomes stress-free. You're not glued to the screen looking at tick by tick what's going on with the stock. You can be very comfortable at ease with your decisions. Dave says, wow, I can't believe Meta is under 645. Oh man, I really wish this was next Friday. I really wish that today was Friday, but not Friday today, but Friday, January 30th. That would have just made my day, because we are already down to 642 now, $3 back out of the money. And that call would have been up like 70-80%. And I would have collected like an insane $1,000 premium, which I still can. Just depends on where Meta trades in the next week here. So, yeah, I still have another week. Correct. I still have another week. Okay, so what are your thoughts on Microsoft? Is it time to stockpile? So Microsoft, I think at sub 400 is a much better deal. Even here, like we're oversold, we're down like 15-20% from all-time highs. Is not a bad risk-reward ratio here for Microsoft, because it is in a bear market. But as you guys know me, we're always looking for good deals, better deals, at even better prices. So as a result, anything like close to 400, sub 400 is going to be a very sweet deal for Microsoft. It's going to be quite asymmetric with a very strong risk reward ratio there. So, Caddy's a meta whisperer. Knowing your luck, you'll still be out of the money. I mean, I would like, I don't know. It would be the craziest. Like this would be the craziest trade if Meta actually is out of the money by next Friday. If it's below 645, I don't even know what to say. Like at that point. You know, because earnings are coming up on Wednesday. So it's that, I think that is going to be making or breaking this trade. Like on Wednesday after market close is really going to be that definitive moment. I'm going to realize that whether I'm selling my shares or I'm keeping my shares, because that's it. Like it's so close to 645, and after the earnings, it's going to probably explode or come down. If it explodes, then for sure it's going to be closing above 645 by Friday. But if it drops, then the music continues. The wheel continues. So I think Wednesday I'll know. Wednesday I will know when the earnings are coming out. So yeah, if it keeps dropping up to earnings, I would buy back 100%. If it drops prior to the earnings, if next week, Monday, Tuesday, and on Wednesday, the day of the earnings, if Meta drops and I'm even up like more than 50%, I am buying to close, taking my money and running out of the door. And then we'll decide after the earnings at that point. Then I'll just simply look at where the stock reacts after the earnings, and then I'll sell a new call. Okay, let's take a look at Path. And then director has bought another 95,000 shares, $6, and 2 funds bought at different days on Tuesday and Wednesday of this week. And this director has bought 31 different times at higher prices. So Universal Safety Products. Yeah, very, very low market cap. I'm going to skip over it. Just under 12 million. It's not what we analyze. UiPath, on the other hand, also getting a nice little reversal. So resistance all the way up to as much as 1556. We got a support level down at 1340. And if we do get up to that resistance, that is a level to keep in mind. But this is looking at a good swing trade opportunity here, given that we are oversold and starting to recover back higher. There's decent confirmation, although the volume was quite low yesterday, but nice little jump of over 6% for Path, and resistance up to 1586 for this stock here. And fire it off again after price spikes, after earnings, which is the likely scenario. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see how much luck favors me this next week. We're literally at the money. This is about as close to the money I can get, 644.99. So that's where Meta is trading now. I'm literally fluctuating between in the money and out of the money now. So we'll see what Meta can do today. 648. Come down. All right, so markets are open. We are open for the final day of the week. It was a short trading week, but Nvidia pushing up over 1.5% back up to almost 188. We got Tesla essentially flat. We got S&P 500 flat. QQQs also very, very flat as volatility pushing up over 2.5% back up to over 16. And we got Bitcoin and Ethereum also struggling at the moment right now. So thank you so much for joining, everyone. Really appreciate you all. Advanced Micro Devices breaking to new heights, up another 5% here, 266. Really breaking, coming up to test its resistance at 265, 266. So we'll see what happens with AMD at those prices. Again, thank you so much for joining. Make sure that you drop a like, subscribe if you haven't already. And again, link's going to be down below if you're interested in joining us. And tomorrow we're going to be looking at Mercado Libre, Meli for the full deep dive and the stock analysis for this company. Thank you so much. And as always, happy investing. I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.